Hi, it's Kathleen from Bailey Academy, mom of 5, homeschooling 3 of them, ages 10, 12, and 16. Today I want to share a little bit more about the Learn Math Fast system. I shared a video unboxing the program that we received from the company to try out and see if it would work for our family, and to share with you guys what we think. And I want to give you our first thoughts, including how to use this with many kids, and just things that we really liked about the program so far, having only used it about 2 weeks so far. So these are preliminary thoughts, and we'll give another more review or more thoughts on it later in the school year. So if you're not familiar with Learn Math Fast system, first I'm just going to give a little overview. Give you a little overview. There are 7 books. This here is volume 1, and they basically cover math from preschool, kindergarten math, all the way up to grade 12, like algebra 1, algebra 2, geometry type things, and everything in between, but in a system of mastery. So you learn what adding is, you master that, and and subtraction and multiplication, division is all in this book. You don't move on to book 2 until you've mastered everything in book 1. There's no, like the reason you wanted to use this system is partly is because we were struggling with, say, pre-algebra in grade 7, because we couldn't remember some of our math facts, or we couldn't remember what we're supposed to do with fractions. So then adding in extra stuff just made it more complicated. So I wanted to try this system for that reason. So this system has been good so far. We used it for 2 weeks so far with my grade 11, and 1 week so far with the grade 7 and grade 4. I like that it's not for a specific grade. So it's not like, oh, you're doing remedial math, you're doing a grade 1 book. You know what I mean? It's all ages. This might be like younger grades math, but it's just review for most of it, and they're just flying through it at first because they're just reviewing and then finding the little things, the little gaps in their education that they might not have done. So for example, my children know their math facts, most of them, but there's a few that they're still stuck on. So we're, pausing in that system to really get those math facts stuck in. And I like the way that it has them memorize them and get them in their head or figure them out. So first of all, thoughts about them. It's taught tips on easier math that we've never heard of. Like, for example, long division, I always was taught, and I love long division, I can still do it. I was always taught, if you had 1 at the bottom, it was remainder 1. But I never really knew exactly, like, there's 1 left over, but 1 what? Like, it doesn't really make sense, but that's how I taught it. Apparently there's 3 different ways that you can do long division at the end. There's a way to make it the answer a remainder, a number, a fraction, or a decimal. I had no idea. And later on in book 2 or 3, I think it's book 2 at the end, my daughter found out that you can use that to figure out when you're using, what's it called? Not improper fractions, mixed fractions, where it's like 4 and 1/2 or something like that. When you're figuring out how to change improper fractions to mixed fractions and vice versa, you can use long division for figuring out exactly what it would be. I had never learned that, and I paid attention in math. It's explained easily. So in the book, this is the very beginning, is adding and subtraction. So chapter 1 is adding and subtracting numbers up to 5. And it has you use pennies, or if you don't have pennies like here in Canada, you can use whatever, to complete this chapter. It helps you see the numbers you're adding and subtracting. So for the younger kids or the kids that are just reviewing, very simply just try to make sure you understand what adding and subtracting means. That if you have 1 and you add 4, it means 5. Like, just making sure you understand that. But it's, this, if you get it from Amazon, it's black and white. But if you buy it from the company itself, then most of them are in color. Although, most of it's simple. It's not like bright, colorful ones like some. There's just a little bit of color, like when there's graphs or like that, things like that. So I like that it's simple to read, simple to understand, and you do a little quick, timed quiz, and if you can do it fast enough, well enough, then you move on to the next thing. The other one that surprised me and my older daughter is, sorry, my eyes bugging me, 30% of 70. Those questions have always bugged me. I never remembered exactly if you divide or multiply what by what, like it just confuses me. And I'm good at math. So like I said, if it confuses me, I imagine it confuses the average person, especially a child. Apparently, there's a super easy way to do it. I won't share what the way is. You should get the curriculum to find out. But basically, 30% of 70, let me see if I can remember how to do this in my head, would be $21 off. I think, if I did that right. Doing it that fast, if I'm doing it right, like I've only tried it once, but if you did the page where you learn it many times, you can do it that fast. When you're shopping and you see something is a certain price and it's this much % off, well, guess what? You can actually know how much it is without having to pull out a calculator, Google how to figure it out, because you can't figure out what to divide or what to multiply or what you're supposed to do. Way easier. It allows you to do math your way. What I mean by that is it says, for example, in a new task, it'll be like, this is how you do it. But at the end, it'll say, but if you have your own way to get the right answer, go ahead. I always hated that. I was in public school and I could figure out things in my head and they would make us write the steps, or they wanted you to do it this way, but I was doing it this way, which to me made more sense. My oldest daughter, who homeschools, is very much like that too. She does things which to me, I have no idea how she got to the right answer, but she does every time. And then if I try to show her the average way, she has no idea what I'm talking about. So it allows you to do math your way. It doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you get the right answer, and it's not just like coincidence or something. Like you can do it over and over again and get the right answer and get the right answer quickly. Because of course, if you can get the right answer, but it takes you 2 minutes to figure it out, that doesn't really help. So it allows you to do math your way. I like that. If you want, the kids can write right in the book. But if you're want to do multiple kids like me, you can just buy the system, have them jot down the work on a blank piece of paper, or you could put, if you photocopy the paper, then your kids could have their own worksheet, whichever, use whiteboard, however you want to do it, and then you can use the system for all of your kids. So with this one math system, I can do math for the rest of up to grade 12 for all 3 of my children. And I only need to add extra stuff if I feel like it, or if they want to do things above normal grade 12 math, like vectors, advanced functions, vectors, calculus, that sort of thing. That's a cat. Get out of the way, kitty. And you can catch up on steps they might have missed. That's the whole point of getting it, to learn math fast. And it's not just for kids. Like I said, adults. If you're an adult who struggles with math and you want to catch up on math, whether just because you want to be able to say you can do it, or so that you're not like completely lost when you're helping your children, whichever, you could get this for yourself and your children. Run through it yourself before them, and you'd be good to go. They can work on it on their own if they're able to. It's not like a certain age, but like, if your child is able to read well, follow instructions, stay on task, and doesn't have trouble with math, they can probably work on this on their own. If they're younger, like just learning addition, like kindergartner, or they're have reading disabilities or learning disabilities, or they're just have trouble staying on task, then they may need you to go with them. So these are my suggestions for how to use this for multiple kids. If I can get my cat off my list. Excuse me, kitty. Excuse me, kitty. Thank you. To use with many kids, they need their own bookmark, because sometimes they'll both be in this, or money will be in the same book. So this book here, book 1, my 2 younger ones are in it. And one of my bookmarks my son picked out, and this is an LOL sheet my daughter picked out for her bookmark. And then my other one is in a further ahead book, but she's using the big bookmark that comes with the system. And it has formulas and reminders and things on it, so that's helpful. You can also purchase more than one of those if you want to, but then maybe just put their name on it or something. Remind your kids that there's no rush if they're younger. You're doing 7 books by grade 12, so for my, grade 11, she's kind of in a bit of a rush to get caught up. But my grade 4, my grade 7, if they're on book 1 for the rest of the school year and we start book 2 next year, that is perfectly fine, because they're going to, work ahead quickly through the next year, I think. And, especially my grade 4 has lots of time. Alternate math with another subject if you're doing with 2 students. So I'm doing with 2 students, when I'm working with them, they both have trouble working on their own. So I'm doing math with one while one reads silently, and then I do math with the other one while that one does their literature component that they do on their own. Work on your own, I can't read my own writing, that's helpful. Work on own at different levels. Depends on child. Oh, that's what I already said that. If the book seems daunting or boring to an older child, tell the kids how many pages are left till the next book. So my oldest daughter found that was helpful. The back of the book is the answers. So if you don't want your child to have the answers, you can write those out and put them somewhere else. But either way, take the amount of pages there is, subtract, or look at the page there is in the last page of work they have to actually do, and then count back and be like, oh, well, we're on page 100 and there's only 200 pages of work to do. You have 100 pages left. Next day, you have 97 pages left. The next day, you have 83 pages left. It helps them count back and be like, I'm almost on the next book, which is helping my older daughter. Some kids might not care. What else? I keep speaking too fast. I'm sorry. I hope you guys can understand me. Let me know if I'm speaking too fast, and I'll try to calm it down for the next video. So yeah, don't write in the book. I already mentioned that. Okay, I think I mentioned everything that I wanted to say about using this with multiple children and what we're thinking of it so far. Right now we're on March break, so what the plan is when we go back to it, we'll just jump right in where we left off. My oldest daughter's on book 3, and we're still on book 1 with the other 2, but like I said, that's perfectly fine, and she also started sooner and is also older. So what we did was we just sort of went through with the older kids. I was like, okay, adding to 5. All right, I skipped the instruction because I knew they were, way ahead of that, and I went to the review test and I said, okay, what's 2 plus 3? What's 1 plus 2? I did a few of them, and if they clearly was like, yeah, okay, you don't need that section, go to the next section. Adding numbers larger than 10. And I was like, okay, so can you do that? I went to the quiz, the worksheet, and the 45-second test. That one, some of them are different seconds. This one's 45 seconds. 16 problems, 45 seconds. If they can do it without counting on their fingers and get the right answer most of the time the first time, and then you move on to the next one. I just kept doing that, and if there's anything that they weren't 100%, like we still skimmed the explanation, because like I said, sometimes if we had skipped the explanation about long division, because if my daughter had remembered how to do long division, then we would have missed all those steps. So you make sure that you go through it slowly, and if you are a much higher level, like my grade 11, and she's just like, recapping, making sure she remembers everything that she needs to know, then you can go a little faster, but you don't want to skip anything without checking that you know all the things in it. So I think that's all I want to say for now about the Learn Math Fast system. I recommend it so far, but like I said, it's only been 2 weeks, so will give us another idea when we've been using it for another couple months, and I'll just let you know if we still think the same thing, if we have anything else to add, and that's it for now. Until the next video, make sure you like and subscribe if you like our content and want to see more homeschooling content. Bye!